I'm going to start this episode out. I'm going to start the reunion episode out the same exact way because we're about to do a little back-to-back. This also is our second episode in a row, so buckle up, everybody. But I want to make it very clear and very known that, once again, Will reached out to us to come on the podcast, foregoing the reunion, et cetera, et cetera. We responded after watching the reunion, yes, we will have you on. So everybody out there know the ball is in his court. We will have Will on if he is tough enough to do it. We will see what he does. But I just want to make it very clear. The ball.
You sure it's not just going to turn into Emmy taking his place and answering for him?
I mean, if this season and reunion give us any inkling whatsoever, yeah, Emmy will probably end up showing up on camera instead of him. But yeah. Ball's in his court.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Southern Hospitalagoots. What's up, dude? Took a while to get there.
Yeah, it took a little while to get there. Not a lot, there's a lot of things going on. A lot of people online, a lot of chatter talking about how Soho got shafted. I am of the thinking that they didn't really get shafted except for the fact that the finale is on the same night as the reunion. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like rolling right into it. Give them another standalone night. We know the Bravo has a big schedule coming up. They've got Atlanta drops tonight, but they've earned it. Give them another week. People don't really want to do that. They want to stay and watch and they want to speculate. Let this whole finale thing simmer. And then let's get into the reunion. Let's get into some of these things. A lot happens in this episode. Yeah. Give everybody a week. Even the cast, Brad's out there posting pictures at law school saying Law School 101, how to cheat on your girlfriend. There's a lot of shit that's going to happen in this next week where people are reacting to the things that happened in the finale and the reunion. We're going to be talking about it. There's going to be more sound bites from other people on the show. Give it a week to settle. And then we're going to go into the reunion next week. All right, this is going to be great. And the reunion was great. And we'll have a whole episode. We'll have an entire episode. We're going to have an entire episode for just the reunion because that was also great. We didn't get a ton of answers, but it's also great. This is just the finale. So settle in. We got you. We got you guys.
We will do 2 episodes. Well, I guess they did 2 episodes too, and we're doing it back to back. But that's not the point. The point is we're taking the time to break them both down individually so that you can, if you want, wait a week to listen to the other one. I don't know why you would do that, but that's your prerogative, Gary. Anyway, I agree. There was a lot that happened in this episode. The reunion was great. We got basically no answers, honestly, other than, we got answers for everything else that happened this season, just no answers about the main thing that happened this season with Will and Emmy. But I didn't expect much more than that. But I agree with you. Now that I've thought about it, first and foremost, yes, we should have been given a week to marinate because we have to speculate. We got to come up with theories. We got to do all these different things before we get to the reunion. That's how this works. That's why Bravo is so good, is because of the fan interaction. But with that being said, I agree with you because you said something before we started recording and Dev said something earlier to me today where I was on the team of they got shafted. Give them more than 10 episodes, have the reunion in an actual studio. They went back to the fucking clubhouse again. This is the best show on Bravo right now, and I will stand by that.
Yeah.
You made the point, and Dev made the point. Keep them humble, because if this is going the route of VPR, which we don't like to compare the two anymore because we feel that they are different enough, but if it's going the route of Vanderpump, this group will soon be a little too famous and a little too wealthy to be working in Republic anymore. And that's what happened in Vanderpump. And that's when the show started to shift a little bit. There were still some good seasons after they were big, but let's keep them humble as long as we can, because inevitably if it keeps going this direction, and all signs point to it is, unless they get fucking Jeremiah involved, this is going to be a hit. So
can he just get blacklisted? Just blacklist him from all shows, or put him on a show that nobody watches. I don't care.
Put him on.
Yeah, the only thing I will say, they could probably get another 2 episodes. There's enough.
I think it would have ended. Even I would love to see the aftermath of Prom. I really would have liked to see the aftermath of Prom.
Yeah, let's see the fallout, because there's a lot of tensions, a lot of high emotions going on at Prom. We need a couple more scenes of people just kind of sitting together, sitting with the information they got from Will and Emmy, sitting with all of the emotions, and letting it run its course. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
what we
agree.
need. We need at least one more episode after prom to like let everything settle in before we get to the reunion and tempers can flare again. I think that's
Or
fair.
at the very least, make it an hour and a half episode and you
Yeah.
get a 3 weeks later and it's everybody
I
after
agree.
the fact. You know what I mean? And then we could have finished on that note and then do the reunion the following week. But hey,
Yeah.
we are not producers, though we want to be so very badly. But let's get into this episode. As we know, Emmy set up this whole prom and she's sitting there in the morning, making the calls, making sure everything's set up, ready to go. And we keep getting, and I hate that they did this because I get so excited when we get, because of the housewives, anytime we get 3 days before, I'm like, oh shit, something happened. And it's like 3 days before, nothing happens. 2 days before, I'm like, still, like, what are we doing? We get this very touching scene with Michols and Preston and the promposal. I am Michael's biggest fan. I think he is one of the best things to happen to Bravo in a very long time, especially after the reunion. Like, this dude's the fucking man. But very sweet promposal with the cakes. And we had a full circle moment. I love full circle moments. Let's not forget Preston and Michols got together because somebody smeared cake and they smooched at Michael's birthday party.
Yep.
Then at the promposal, they did it again. I was like, yay. We love
He went all out. He had 3 cakes. He even had a no cake, which I hope somebody ate at some point. We don't like to see cakes go uneaten, you know?
Yeah, that's our biggest platform here. No cakes left behind. But
no cakes left behind, yeah.
It was very sweet, especially considering his last experience at prom. He went with his girlfriend at the time, and he was quote unquote straight. And they went back to his house and were in his room, I suppose, and woke up the next morning with a box of condoms on his bed. So that's his recollection of prom. So I'm glad that he gets to have a real prom with a real date and enjoy himself.
Painting just a real shit picture of his mom.
I know, dude.
Like,
she's rough,
God.
bro. It sucks. It's hard. It's really hard to listen to, honestly. But you get 1 day before, I'm like, all right, here we go. And awesome, fucking awesome scene. But still, I was waiting for some shit to pop, like really pop off. And it's Joey Bottles doing the Love
Dude,
Actually.
I was cracking up this whole time.
Did you
Just
text him?
absolutely crying, laughing. No, did you?
No, I should have.
Oh
We should
my
just,
God, dude.
We'll get to that. But like,
That was so fun. Like, he rented a car. He rented like a
you rented a
Mustang.
GT like Mustang, which is perfect. It fits that scene. But hey, again, dude, with the money for Ubers and then renting that fucking car,
buy a car,
put a down payment on a car, Joe. Get a goddamn car. Like, even if it's a shitty car for like a year, and then get a better one. But stop wasting money.
Stop wasting your money on travel.
One.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't make any sense. But
I
I thought he did a good job. Look, this was nice to see because we didn't know where they stood the last time that we saw them together. Tempers were flaring. They were at each other's necks because there's a lot going on. Joe wants to move in with Maddie. Maddie's not ready for it. Maddie's right. Joe's not right. That's pretty much what we got from it. And he just let it all go. And this is the best way to let it go. And only a way that Joe Bradley can do in just a goofy, nothing seemed to really go right when he's dropping those signs. And it probably is a lot more difficult than we think it is because it was very windy out. And you could see them just flying away. And I'm sure I would have loved if they included like a little editor's thing. And you just see Joe like sprinting after them after he's done asking her if she wants to go to prom. Yeah, that would be really funny. But this is only a thing that Joe can do. He can make it funny. He can make her laugh. And I'm sure that's part of the reason why she loves him. So it works out perfectly for Joey.
Yeah, even the speaker was like losing the fucking antenna was fucking up. And it was just, but my whole thing was like, if you had the song planned, did you have the song planned or did he just like tune into like local rock 101?
Dude, where's
like,
your fucking JBL speaker? Like, just pop a JBL speaker, throw some Fetty Wap on. That's what we do.
He probably rented this fucking radio too instead of just buying a fucking speaker. I don't know. But
he definitely found this in somebody's garage.
Yeah, that sounds more right. But I will say, like you said, the biggest thing to take away is he has finally realized, like, okay, like, slow the fuck down. He realizes later on, he says more on the topic where he's like, you know, the only person that's going to push her away is me by being overbearing. It's like, let this thing play out. You guys are in a great spot. So seeing him come to this realization via signs was great. A little Love Actually moment. He has to make sure to let Maddie know. I try to pull from lots of different rom-coms. It's like, yeah, dude, it worked.
It's fine. You don't have to explain. It's like a joke. You don't have to explain the joke. It's not funny anymore.
It worked. It worked. You got it. She's in. But we get to Republic, and Joe getting caught putting makeup on is fucking hilarious as well. Because Michaels walks, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, just checking the stats on the rotary girder." Like,
any guy who's ever had a girlfriend before has gone through this. You get like, at first you just kind of like push back. You're like, yeah, I got a blemish, whatever. It's a pimple. It'll go away. Not really worried about it. No. We're going to cover it up. No, we're not going to cover it up. And then you get put in the position where you are going to cover it up. And of course he gets caught almost right away.
I will say this.
I think they sold it fine because Michaels probably just thought that they were making out. He's like,
I thought
right,
that's, yeah.
You're aware.
Quit smooching on the job, guys. 100%. But Emmy goes to a confessional and she's like, it's been a rough summer. It's like, you know what, it has. And like, we've been sympathetic to her side of this whole thing where she's just getting put through the ringer by a manipulative boyfriend, which is exactly what that's all it is. And even after watching the reunion, I stand by that. But the fact that she still says stuff like, after finally proving Will's innocence, it's like, when, how? We haven't seen it. Like, why do you have to lean on that? That just sucks to watch, dude. That just shows you where she's at.
Because he's bullied. Like,
because Austin, the best part, and I don't know if the producers were doing him dirty. I hope they were. Yeah. The amount of times that they ran the clip of Will saying, I'm getting bullied at law school, I think it was 4 or 5. Man. And I was like, play it 10 times.
It's just for us. I
think it is. Like, it was such a great move. They just kept playing it. And every scene that it was like referred to, they fucking played it. I was like, good. Because this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But anyway, you get TJ and Bradley. And they've been the most meticulous as far as trying to gather evidence, like talking to other people. And I think a big part of that is because of the ties they have with both of them, right? Like Will's their boy, no matter what. It appears that they still want to figure out a way through this to be friends with him, but at least Brad does. I think that TJ's finally out on it. But I think
for Brad, I think it's more that like he's out on Will right now. He feels disrespected. I feel like he feels like Will's being a dick, lying to their faces, and he's tired of hearing on it. So that's why I don't think he's going the extra mile like TJ is. But I think that he's keeping his ear to the ground. And if somebody's talking bad about Will, he probably lets them go a little bit longer because he's frustrated with Will. And they were boys, but you can't have your boy lie to your face that many times. And you're friends with Emmy too. And I don't think that Bradley's as close to Emmy as TJ is, but he's still close enough to her and he sees what it's doing to her. And you see Emmy in her confessional, like it was a tough summer. I don't know what's going on. You can see her spiraling and you see Will just completely denying all of this and keeping her away from everybody. So it's very clear for everybody involved. Like, all right, do I really want to keep dealing with this asshole, or do I want to just see if any of this is true? And I think that's where Bradley is. Whereas TJ likes the goss. TJ's a little into it. He wants to protect Emmy first and foremost. Wants to make sure that she's okay. He feels like Will's an asshole, and now it's like, all right, well, I do love goss. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to reach out to a couple of people. I'm going to see what I can find because it's juicy. And it can vindicate a couple of things that we've been talking about, and it makes me feel good, and I can protect Emmy. So it is just a full swing for him.
And I want to add to that a little bit in saying he's justified in doing so with how he's been treated by the two of them. So that's the craziest part, and that's mentioned in the reunion later. But it's like, if you guys had handled it differently with these people that are quote unquote your friends, then you probably wouldn't have gotten the backlash that you received, or at least as harshly. But any time that TJ tried to come to you, you berated him, belittled him, and talked shit about him. So at this point, now he's on a revenge path to clear his own name because you guys are calling him all sorts of names. So now it's different. Now it's not just let me protect my friend. Now it's also let me protect myself because you guys keep fucking being mean to me. So he's justified in the digging, and they start to put some pieces together where it's like, all right, Law Prom, Emmy couldn't go because she had a ski trip with the family. That's allegedly the weekend that this all shook out because they heard right after that Saturday or whenever that prom was the run club day, that Austin let slip that he heard Will had cheated on her. So everything's starting to line up timeline wise. It's all making sense to me. We are very evidence focused here. If you provide evidence and timelines, you're gonna sell us.
Journalistic integrity. That's us. You see a picture of us. That's what you think.
Yeah, totally. But Brad is conflicted, and you can tell. And not that he's not going to do the right thing, but he says in his confessional, he's like, watching this relationship has kind of pushed Emmy to be somebody she's not. And yeah, Will's my boy, but I'm not going to sit by and let her get steamrolled if I don't have to, because at this point I care about her too much and I'm seeing what's going on, and she's a shell of who she used to be, which we've watched. Right. If you compare this season to last season, Emmy is unrecognizable almost. Yeah. So we get to Emmy and Will, and when you're looking deep into these shows, as we like to do, you're looking for reactions. You're looking for how they talk about spouse. Yeah, right. Their partner. They're never getting fucking married. But like, like
They might be. Who knows?
no fucking shot. But he says in his confessional, I've never been a big prom guy, but Emmy is so excited. It's like you're doing it again. Everything that she gets excited about, you have to put a damper on it. You just went to law prom with somebody else. So clearly you like to go to prom. And the only time you don't like to go to prom is when your actual girlfriend is involved, apparently. So just feign excitement. Just be fucking normal and not bash your girl. Like, he doesn't even recognize it in these moments when he's talking like that. It's like you're shitting on her right now. And you expect us to believe you care about her. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it's fully crazy to me. And this is pretty much par for the course for him. I mean, this is what's going to happen. And if Emmy decides that she doesn't want to be on the show anymore, she's not going to be around these people that are going to be pointing to things saying, hey, Will's doing some suspect shit. He's coming into Republic. He's talking smack on you. He's bad-mouthing your entire relationship. He's bad-mouthing your eating habits, your workout habits, all of these things that go along with you. And you're going to sit there and still defend him. Meanwhile, he's still doing the same shit. He hasn't changed his behavior the whole time. You see Emmy scrambling to try to make excuses for the guy. And he's over here saying that he's getting bullied at law school and that must be where it's coming from. Like, no, why would anybody really care? If somebody, and we'll break it down on a logical level, if Austin's girlfriend's brother is sitting there calling you Bravo boy, do you think he's going to turn around and then try to create a rumor like some sort of high schooler to try to get you in a bad place with your girlfriend? No, he's probably just laughing at you. He doesn't gain anything from that. He's laughing at you because you're a loser. That's all that's really happening. So don't take it this extra step and that's all you're going to do. And you're just going to live in that and say that you're vindicated. It's wrong. It just doesn't make any sense. And we can see it here. And it's not even just like how we watch this where we're very analytical and like we pay attention to the emotions, pay attention to all like the subtweeting that goes on in the shows. He just flat out doesn't like her. He doesn't respect her as a girlfriend. Like he doesn't see, I see you going through all of this. Every time that it's anything going on or the agony that they've gone through this summer, it's we've been through hell this summer. You haven't. You've been working, avoiding things. You've barely been on the show. She's had to face the brunt of it. She's been having a rough summer. She's been going through a lot of shit. You're over here bad-mouthing her. This is your fault. Take accountability and just move on. Like, I just don't understand how you can't just be like, leave Emmy out. Like, go to the group, leave Emmy out of this. This has nothing to do with her. If you guys want to come to her because you heard a cheating rumor, go to me first and we can talk about it. You still want to go to Emmy? Fine, go. I badmouthed her. I shouldn't have done that. Let's move on. I really feel bad about it. I put her in a bad spot, but please stop going after her because it's affecting her. I'll try to clean up my side of it. That's really all you needed to do. And I think everybody would have been like, all right, we'll stay out of it. If something else happens, we'll talk about it then. But if you can keep it clean, everything's going to be fine. Instead, he's like, no, you guys are coming after me. I'm the victim. You're not the victim. Emmy's the victim.
Emmy's taking the brunt of the entire thing. That's such a good point. It's like at some point, dude, step up, step in front of the bullets and take them yourself. Because the thing that bothers me the most, I'll play devil's advocate, and I don't believe for a second he didn't cheat, but I will play devil's advocate for a split second and say, okay, let's say you didn't cheat. Your behavior, regardless, has put her in these precarious positions because you keep doing questionable things. Let's say you didn't follow through with the cheating, which, again, don't believe that. Let's say you didn't. You were still in the bathroom one-on-one with a girl. You still have done enough on a campus for people to text people back home and say, this relationship Will has with this person is a little shady. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really understand what's going on. To further that, TJ saying, I remember now a night in New York City where Will talked to me and said, this girl on campus, I think she's getting the wrong idea. To me, that sounds like you're setting up an excuse for when shit falls apart, which it has now. So if you look at the behavior and remove the cheating from it entirely, regardless, you have put her in this spot where she has to defend herself. And instead of stepping up, you've been, quote unquote, working a 9 to 5 and avoiding it and then playing victim while she's getting berated. That's one of my biggest issues. Obviously, the cheating is number one. That's very close second.
But you're not protecting her. He's not protecting her from any of it. Yeah.
It's just crazy. If you love somebody, you fucking step up in that moment. She's been getting hammered all season by these people, and you haven't said a fucking word. But anyway, you get Joe, Maddie, and Eva, and they're talking about the O'Sheen stuff. I'm so glad we got to see him again.
The milkman cometh.
Oh, don't. And he hit every fucking trope imaginable within 5 fucking minutes, dude. But Maddie is still under the impression, And obviously she would be, given the conversation she just had with Grace Lily, that Grace wants to make things right with Eva. So she tells Eva that, she tells Joe that. Eva's even somewhat open to the idea because she's not like, fuck that. She knows what she was doing.
I think Eva does have to get over it. One, it's O'Sheen. Two, you guys were friends with benefits. You guys weren't in a relationship. Who the fuck cares?
I agree with that, but that doesn't mean you have to be friends with Grace.
You don't have to be friends with her. I think Maddie would like it in a perfect world, but you know what? Sometimes your friends aren't friends with your friends. That's what happens. You like that line?
Your friends are your friends with your friends? Yeah, whatever.
No, your friends aren't friends with your friends.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I'll take that one, which is fine. Yeah, and that is fine. But I think she wants this click back, which I understand that part of it. And, I agree with you. As far, I don't even know if she is stuck on O'Sheen. Maybe it's just the betrayal of the whole thing. Like, I don't really know. It could honestly
just be that Eva doesn't really like Grace Lily, and then once that happens, she's like, "All right, then I don't like her.
This.
I'm not going to be around her anymore." And that's fair, I mean, we love Grace Lily. We would hang out with her. She'd be a blast. I'm sure she'd be very wavy. No, you wouldn't hang out with her?
I have a very different opinion after this episode. Yeah, I'm off. You're just a shitty fucking.
You don't want to do jazz hands?
I'll give her credit. She's entertaining. Like, she's entertaining. I'm not taking away from that. She's not a good
terrible
person.
friend.
She's a bad person. Like,
but I think maybe that's where I think Eva just found her out. She's like, you know what? I don't really care about O'Sheen, but I really don't like Grace Lily. She did this. I'm going to stay away from her. And that's
perhaps that could definitely be it. But it did seem like there was a door open here where it's like, all right, like maybe I'll hear her out. But we get to TJ, Mia, and Bradley for a scene that I named Eye Patches and Wine. Because they're all getting ready for prom. Bradley needs some eye patches. You got to show up looking your best. So they're just sipping a little vino.
I've got a lot of pictures of me in eye masks.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good eye mask. You got to get the bags to go away.
That's a lot.
But some more information starts coming out because there's a VIP server at Republic. I'm not sure why this is just coming out now. That's a little suspect because if she's been there the whole time, like she clearly knows what's up. But the server says that Will has this study buddy, quote unquote, on campus, and they hang out all the time. The students think that it's his girlfriend. And this is when TJ references, that's interesting because in New York City, Will had mentioned to me that he thinks that this girl at school is getting the wrong idea. What I wasn't ready for is, and apparently she moved in with Will at one point or another, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And even Mia is like, you know what? And Mia's the toughest one of this group. It's like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Ask him about it. And this is why I wish Mia was present from day one and not
for the whole season.
Worlds, because this would have, but I guess it would.
I think the Joe TJ thing probably wouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
Yeah.
I think like
this would have taken
Mia in those situations because she's very real in the sense of like, if things drag on for too long and it's just people talking around an issue and talking about it behind other people's backs, she always just wants to bring it to their attention. Like, hey, enough of this. I'm tired of hearing about it. This is not going anywhere. We're just coming up with more rumors. Just address it. We're going to be with him, filming with him. He's got a camera on him. Let's just get this over with. I think that Mia is just a no nonsense person and she works so well with this cast. And it sucks that, well, I guess it's still going to work out well for her because she's still going to be in Charleston, but her not working in Republic anymore seemed like it was going to be an issue last year. Now it's just completely out the window. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it worked out completely fine. She 100% delivered this season. And like you said, it just would have brought this to the forefront sooner because she's like, why are we doing this? Why are we skating around it? Just fucking ask him and let's get this over with. But before we get to prom, I think we got to hear from our friends over at Boll and Branch.
We most certainly do. And Steele, I think you called it out in the last episode. I am well rested. I'm feeling good. I had a nice weekend to just lay around, do nothing. And the most exciting part of that weekend was laying in my Boll and Branch signature sheets. They are so comfy. Every time that I see them on the bed, I get excited. I think, hey, I could lay in bed for a little bit. Why not? That's probably my best call. Just get into their buttery, smooth surface. Just slide on in there. I'm out like a light. I don't have any issues. Typically, I have a lot of issues falling asleep, counting sheep, maybe some rain noises. I don't know. What do you like to do?
I am horrible at sleeping. So I lay there and lose my mind. I get up and walk around a little bit. Then I get back in bed and I have a hard time falling asleep. But what I will say is now that I have Boll and Branch sheets, now that I have gotten the bed to be more comfortable, I am getting better at falling asleep. I get in bed, I do some breathing. And because I'm so comfy cozy, I'd slip off into a lovely night of sleep. And I genuinely, this is not a selling tactic. I wake up feeling more rested with my Bowl and Branch sheets.
Yeah, so do I. And the best part is right now you can get a 30-night worry-free guarantee. That means you can try Bowl and Branch sheets for the entire month. Seriously, you can wash them, style them, feel the difference for yourself, and it's all risk-free. If they don't change the way that you sleep, you can send them back for a full refund. That's insane. You can actually check to see if you're sleeping better after 30 days. And if you're not, for whatever reason, after listening to us, both of us have issues sleeping. We're good in our Bowl and Branch sheets. You can still send them back, but you're not going to want to, let's be honest. And now's your chance to change the way that you sleep with Bowl and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bowlandbranch.com/brosandShows. That's Bowl and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/brosandShows to save 15% off. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
But let's get back to the business. What do you say? Because now we are headed to prom, where everything's about to pop off. And this is arguably the most foreshadowing scene that you're going to get, because you've got a split scene here, juxtaposed scene. On one side, it's Will and Emmy arriving to the venue. Emmy is getting ready. She comes out and she looks great, and she clearly wants some compliments. And Will is very half-assed, like blah, blah, blah. He's on his fucking laptop. I thought it was so disrespectful. Once again, she missed your law prom, and she went out of her way to put together a law prom in Charleston to still celebrate it with you. And you are on your fucking laptop acting like you have more important things to do after saying, I'm not a big prom guy. So you're putting no excitement into this, no effort. You're acting like you're sure to be there.
Slow down here. He got balloons and a Sharpie. So
and he did change his work tie to a party tie.
Yeah, that's big.
Fuck that. Whatever.
Anybody who's worked a 9 to 5 knows that that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal. I've never worked a 9 to 5, but it sounds like a big deal. But with the other scene, it's the party bus. Everyone's lit. They're having a great time. They're excited. I mean, it's a good party idea, especially if you put like effort into it. And Emmy clearly did. Like, they got drinks, they got food. Like, she went all out. So yeah, it should be a really exciting night. Meanwhile, Will's like, oh my God. Yeah. Blah, blah. Like, it's so unenergetic and it's so fucking frustrating. But we get to prom. We get a Lucia sighting. Haven't seen her since season 1 and 2. She was in season 2, right?
She was in season 2. Yeah. Brad was going out with her.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So then we get this just another amazing scene. Thanks to Michols. And he's been on this incredible journey this season. He's allowed all of us to witness this growth that he's gone through. But Michols is sitting with Preston, and he had said something in bed the other day where he's like, I deleted all my dating apps, implying exclusivity. So Michols wants to have this actual conversation, and I thought the way that Preston handled it was so mature and allowed for Michols to make his own decisions. He's like, look, I am all yours, all right? I also recognize there's an age gap here. You haven't experienced certain things. You need to go out there. You need to learn this, that, the other. Giving Michols the opportunity, like, hey, I'm ready, but if you're not, I understand. Because he has experience dating in Charleston and what it's like there. So I love that from Preston, and then for Michols to be like, well, I do want to experience all those things, but I want to do it with you. I was like, yay. Like, I love this. Yeah, beautiful scenes. Lovely. I'm happy for those two. It was very sweet, but that's probably the last sweet moment we're going to have this evening.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Everyone's having a blast. Everybody's having a fucking blast. Except for who?
Well, the hosts of the party.
And her fucking boyfriend are outside acting like this is a fucking work event where it's like, oh God. Will is sitting in a goddamn chair and he goes, I'm exhausted. Shut up. Get up. Yeah. Thank your girlfriend. Take her inside and have a fun night. Because I bet you, if we take clips from Law Prom, you were probably on the fucking dance floor with that random brunette, cutting it up, having a blast, wasted, doing all, cutting it up.
No, he was in the bathroom, dog.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you're in the bathroom. So you probably didn't. There's probably
cutting it up in the bathroom for sure.
Yeah, you were. Ask the bathroom attendant. But like that's what pisses me off the most. And that's where he wants to defend himself, that he's not a bad boyfriend, that he's not out there cheating. It's like, but your behavior, aside from cheating, sucks. You give her no fucking energy. She threw this party for you. She did the same thing last year for you. And you just said to her at 8 p.m., the party just fucking started, and you're like, I'm exhausted because you work. Everybody works, dickhead. Grow up. Dude. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I just like, there's no effort. Just zero effort on his part. If you're in a situation like all of us have seen guys or girls who have cheated on their significant others. Usually the reaction is, oh, fuck, I got to get my act together. If they know that you've been doing some weird shit or you've been talking shit on them, you're going to get your act together, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. Have you seen any of that from him? And like, I'm sorry, but they still sit here and everybody's speculation is you're trying to get to a point where you just don't care anymore and she's just going to break up with you. And then you can say it's her fault, not your fault. That's what you're trying to get to. And you keep denying that. But all of your actions are pointing to that's what you're doing. If your girlfriend's going to throw you a whole thing because she was upset that she couldn't go to your law prom and it's going to be a fun time, go have fun. And I get that like everybody hates you. Why not try to change that by being nice to people, by being personable, by walking around and talking to people? Maybe they're not going to start hunting down evidence about you cheating on your girlfriend anymore. They're just going to have fun with you. Like, I don't understand how he doesn't see this. Instead, he's just going to sit there and be like, I don't even really want to be here. I'm tired. Like, what do? You work a 9 to 5. It's not like you're fucking golfing every day afterwards and going to work. We've seen your swing. You suck. You're not even good at golf. We've seen you play paddleball or tennis or whatever it may have been. You suck. You're just not good. So what are you doing? We haven't seen you in the gym once. Brad's doing shit every weekend. He's got a run club in Charleston. What are you doing, bro? Sitting around eating chips on your laptop? Probably talking to other girls?
Yeah, he's fucking on his laptop.
Just drives me insane, man. Like, we're old. We're like way older. I don't care how bad the prom is. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to cut up. Dude. I'm going to have a great time on that dance floor. Like, come on.
Without a doubt, especially given the circumstances. That's the craziest part.
Now you're a cheater and you're a loser.
Yeah, good for you, pal. But Austin arrives and lets everybody know that Allie's not coming because apparently Will woke up and decided to call Austin's brother. Will called Allie's brother, Austin's girlfriend. As we've heard, the only line of communication that Will and Emmy seem to be focused on, because there's no chance that anybody else at this law school close to Charleston is from Charleston. Because that would be ludicrous, right? That other people could see this and recognize that guy's on TV and see him doing some sketchy shit and be like, wait, I know Brad, and text somebody.
I'm pissed at Austin. Like, just enough. Just fucking tell us. Tell everybody.
Guys, thank you. Thank you so much.
It drives me fucking
dancing around it. Fucking say it, bro.
You're like such a coward. Like, you're afraid of we know now all of the information that you've given us about Allie and her family. You don't talk to her family. Her family doesn't know you guys are dating again because of the last time. We don't know what the fuck happened the last time, but there's a reason why they don't like you and they don't want you and her together. Now you're rejecting it, but you're going on your confessional saying, yeah, I just didn't want to bring it up because like it's early in our relationship. Fuck off, man. You're on a reality TV show. Now, dude. You're a secondary character. You're in the reunion. You're in the second row. Get up to the front row. You want to be a player on this? Why are you even on this show? If you're more worried about a second relationship with a girl that you fucked it up with the first time, and you're not just going to tell us, like, it just drives me insane. Like, shut up, man. Just tell everybody. Because it's just,
get it out.
Like, again, why are you doing it at the confessional? If at least be consistent.
I agree. That was my biggest issue with him is just we've heard this, bro. And now you're telling us that Allie's not coming due to this call, and yet we're still not going to dive in. You're still like, you clearly don't want to address Will. That's what it looks like. You walk around with your shirt off and you like fucking run barefoot and like you're tough, you're lifting logs, and push comes to shove and you're afraid to go talk to Will. Talk to Will if you're this guy. So that drove me nuts too, and I'm glad you brought that up. But Allie, I guess, was devastated because she heard about this. I guess that Allie's brother didn't know that Allie was dating Austin again. As we found out, they don't like Austin, so that was obviously a little bit of a shock there. I have no idea if they're still together or not. Michols,
I don't care.
I don't really care either. I could care less. Like, I'm not invested in him at all. But Michols gives Will some credit because he's like, I would probably do the same thing. Go to the source, clear that.
Yeah, I actually agree with that fully.
I do too. It's like, yeah, dude, do what you got to do.
Yeah, the timing is suspicious. You're going to do it the morning of the prom.
The timing
is brutal. Why not? And I forget who said it, but like we've been talking about this since Vegas, and this is like 2-3 weeks after Vegas. You knew it. You brought it up to your boys. You talked about how this dude's bullying you, that he's the source of this whole rumor. You've been ruminating in it. You've been dealing with it for weeks. Why are you doing it the day of the prom? Now, I understand, again, I do agree. Go to the source. Like, be a man about it. Just fucking text him. Also, maybe it'll stop the bullying. Maybe he won't call you Bravo Boy anymore. Maybe he'll call you Text Boy. I don't know what he's going to do. Like, just figure it out. And that's the only thing that Will has done pretty much this entire season that I actually agree with. Like, at least you like asked.
I do, but I don't. Again, because it goes.
But I don't
back
believe
to
Austin. Austin saying that he's calling around all of a sudden. Like, I actually, weirdly enough, believe Will. He probably sent a text to
Like
that guy and was like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Yeah.
Well, I don't. I'm not saying he didn't only send a text, but the way that he said it is, I only sent one text this morning. And then later, Emmy's like, well, he denied everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, that means you had a discourse. You had a conversation about this. So clearly there was more said, more sent. But the timing, for one reason and one reason alone, is why I'm the most pissed off about it.
Yeah.
You know that this is going to throw a wrench into tonight. And you know that Emmy put this whole night together. Can't you just shut up and get through the night and then take care of it, or take care of it 3 weeks ago? You're doing it the day of Law Prom via Emmy. And once again, she is a casualty because of it. That's
I do wonder.
dumb.
I wonder how it would have played out if Allie had showed up. Maybe this might be for the better, because, like, do you want to have Emmy go after Allie and ask the questions? Do you want to ask Emmy, or do you want to ask Allie directly? That's not a good look either, as Will. Like, you're not addressing any of this, but now that there's a girl involved, you're going to go after her for her brother. Like, no, that's a terrible look too. It's probably better that Allie didn't go for everybody involved.
We probably would have gotten a little bit more clarity if she had.
We would have gotten more clarity, that's for sure. But like, it is clear to me. We know where it came from.
Yeah, without a doubt.
An asshole. Like,
I have no question. Yeah. So anyway, G Lily walks in, and again, for the show and entertainment purposes, she does her job. As a person and a friend, no feel whatsoever. No. This is shitting on one person and one person only. Yeah, Eva gets thrown under the bus here, and that sucks for her, but we don't really know her. What you're doing is shitting on the person that has defended you relentlessly year in and year out in Maddie. And you walk in with fucking O'Sheen, and I have to hear the fucking line, "The milk's thicker than ever, brother." I'm like, fuck you. Ugh. Why are you back? I don't need you here. And in the first
picture I posted the other day when Joe posted pictures from the finale. Joe posted pictures from the finale, and it was like him and O'Sheen hugging. So I put it on our account. I'm like,
I didn't see that. Or like, I wish I did. I would have expected it.
Yeah, no, just you didn't even see it. Oh, dude, yeah. It's just like the most like unenthusiastic ever. The milkman's here.
The milk, I can't. The milk's thicker than ever.
I think I said get your milk ready.
I can't. And like within the first 30 seconds, obviously Maddie's livid because it makes her look stupid, as she says. Molly points out, clearly Grace doesn't give a fuck about Maddie or anybody. And I hear O'Sheen, after Maddie goes up to him and goes, "You're so fucking messy." He goes, "You knew what you got into when you got friends with me, babe." I'm like, yeah, did she, babe? Do you think that you're cool and edgy, babe? Because you're just fucking gross and annoying, babe. You pour milk on yourself.
But that's the worst part about dudes like that, is they'll get away scot-free. Like he'll just go back to whatever corner of the world that he's working in now, because he doesn't have a real job. He just pours milk on himself and bartends. So he'll go to wherever he's going, probably Thailand, and nobody's going to worry about him. Nobody's going to text him. Nobody's going to give him shit for showing up. It's not going to worry. Like, nothing's going to come back on him. He knows what he's doing, and they're only going to blame G Lily. And it is G Lily's fault, of course. But she's the only one who's going to catch any heat. Maddie's going to be pissed off. Eva might be pissed off. G Lily's going to have to bear the brunt of it. He can go fuck off, and he won't have to worry about it. And he can just come and go as he pleases. Like, that's the problem with dudes like that.
Yeah, he's laughing the entire time. It doesn't affect him. He doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't care.
Again, for like the show purposes, like, yeah, that was a moment like, Jesus, she really brought this dude. But like from a real person standpoint, it's like, are you that mean? Like,
yeah, dude.
Like, clearly this is vindictive, but whatever. It was just, I hated that in the first minute. It was the milk's never been thicker, and you knew what you got into when you were friends with me. Sick, you're edgy and fucking cool, bro. Like, you're so sick. Is that a fucking wraparound tattoo on your forearm, dude? Fuck yeah, bro. I just can't. I fucking can't. Because you played fucking rugby. I don't fucking care. But anyway, you get Will, Mia, and Emmy. And Mia, again, love her. She calls it out. She goes, "You guys look like you're having the worst time ever." And their fucking response is bizarre as shit. "Well, I thought it was going to be catered by sushi, but now I'm eating this crab cake. I don't like crab cakes." What are we talking about? What are you guys talking about? What the fuck does that have to do with you guys having fun at the party? There's no sushi?
No,
I don't care.
Will won't talk to anybody because he realizes that everybody hates him. Okay. Emmy is going to stick close to Will because that's how their relationship works, and that's what Will wants. Instead, if Will wasn't there, Emmy would probably be bopping around. And as long as nobody's talking about Will cheating on her, she'd have a good time. But instead, Will's going to be there like sulking in the corner, moping around, doing all this shit. And she's going to stick by him the entire time because that is how their relationship works. And it bums everybody else out. We're all trying to have a good time. I don't give a fuck if there's crab cakes there. Are there drinks at the bar? Are we having a good time? Yeah, we're having a great time. The music sounds pretty good in there. Let's play Maddie's song. Let's all get after it. That sounds like a great time. No, I'm going to sit in this Adirondack chair. I don't really want to be here. I'm pretty tired. You guys don't work 9 to 5.
God, seriously, though, dude, go do a shot. I'm sober. Go do a fucking shot. Yeah. Go drink. Go have fun. Fuck the crab cakes. Fuck the sushi. Mm-hmm. Who's looking at the spread at a prom party? Do you know how sick it looked to be like, have a prom theme, but you can go to the bar and drink during it? Like,
did you see the guy who probably like owns the house that was like milling around in there?
Who definitely was there the entire time and probably making like awkward comments and like partying too hard. Yeah, I saw that guy. No, I don't want to throw him under the bus. I have no idea.
He probably made out with like a 25-year-old girl that night. I'm just calling it.
I have no, and I don't want to throw this dude under the bus. Like, I have no idea. He might be the sweetest man in the world. You just saw the back of his head. But the coloring of his hair tells me that he likes to party. Because it was like, there was like multiple, I don't know what you call that, but there was a lot of different dyes in there. And I think this guy likes to fucking party. He's like, yeah,
he was going for touch of gray. Yeah, I think he's late for his touch of gray appointment.
You guys can come and have this fucking party. Hell yeah, you can. I get to come though, right? No. Well, then you can't have it.
One stipulation.
Yeah, I get to party with
also,
you.
No sushi. I'm allergic.
That's such a fucking funny idea. If you own an event space, like, yeah, totally. But here's the only caveat. I get to party with you. He's like, yeah, but I get to party with you.
You said event space. And I just saw the choppers in Vietnam. JT, at his own event space.
JT gets a shout out in the reunion. I was like, of course you're perpetuating this fucking rumor, you loser. You can't help yourself.
God, I can't wait to get to that.
That was the best callback. But we get to TJ, Austin, and Bradley. Bradley and Austin fill TJ in. TJ's fully sold that Will definitely cheated. And then they tell Maddie about the girl, that he took this girl to law prom. It lines up with when he came back talking shit. So everything, once again, if you present these pieces together, we're walking through this timeline. Everything tracks. Everything tracks. The timing of it, Emmy not being there, Emmy being on a trip, different area codes, all of these things.
Were you ludicrous? He's got a hose in different area codes.
I censored myself. I didn't say it. I said different area codes. I didn't say that.
I said it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you fucking that's not what I was saying. He's just under the guise of, if she's out on a ski trip, maybe he feels more endearing and is more likely to cheat because she's not on the same side of the country. I don't know. But it seems to me that he looks for excuses because then he can back himself up and be like, well, we just went to law prom as friends or whatever. We didn't even get to hear why, like the reaction to him taking somebody else to law prom, not even at the fucking reunion.
He's starting to get the Shep voice too. You're really getting them.
Once you start to turn into certain things and you're from Charleston, it just starts to come out naturally. You start to sound more and more like this, dude, until you're full shot, bro. It's just a natural progression. Tell me it's not the same timeline. The only difference is that Will has a job. Like, that's literally the only fucking difference here. And he's still a Nepo baby, not to the level of Shep, obviously. Yeah. But he does clearly have family money. Like, he's going down the same path, and he's the same kind of guy. And maybe this is why everyone in Charleston says it's so hard to fucking date in Charleston. Maybe there's a ton of these dudes out there. We've seen a lot of shitty men in Charleston, so I don't fucking know. But production asked TJ, and this is a valid question with a solid response, I believe, because they've made it clear we don't want you guys involved in our shit. You and I have also talked about other relationships throughout these shows, not just Southern Hospitality. We've made that point before where it's like at a certain point, you have to let these people do what they're going to do. This is different because it's so blatant. That's what I think the difference is. And what TJ says, he's like, look, I understand what they said that, but I know if I was in her shoes, I would want somebody to say this to me. So I respect that. And I agree with that. And I also think the difference is in other instances that we've seen on any other show, when somebody muddies the water with a rumor or they are in the wrong place at the wrong time or somebody spots them with somebody else, it's a one-off because then they know they're in the spotlight and they're like, I'm not going to do anything stupid again. What we have with Will is just repeat behavior over and over. He hasn't shifted his behavior in any way, shape, or form. So it's like it keeps happening. So at some point, they told us to butt out, but Emmy's my fucking friend. Like
it's also like in this group of friends, like cameras are not, you guys are close knit to an extent. You're working together as well. So you're seeing all of the fallout that happens. Like it's not just a one-off situation where a group of friends has to deal with this and the couple can just butt out. They can just go their separate ways, stay away from the friends altogether and do their own thing. And then eventually you know that they're going to break up and at least one of them is going to come back and it's going to be messy. This is something that they all have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, something that they all have to deal with on this show. At some point, they're going to hit their boiling point. And I think TJ hit his boiling point a while ago because he's just trying to help Emmy. Michols was also in that boat. He was just trying to help Emmy, but Michols has a lot going on. He's dating Preston. He's got enough going on with his family. He's had so many separate things, and he's also the best manager that we've ever seen on a show like this. So he cares about his work. He has removed himself from all of it because he tried, in his mind, he tried with Emmy, which he did. And she completely gave him the ringer, like put him through the ringer. Like, no, everything's fine. I'm going to deny everything. I appreciate it, and like placated everything that he said by saying, I appreciate you coming over, but don't worry about me. Everything's fine. He bought out after watching her at Lake's house. Fine. TJ has to deal with this all the time. Brad has to deal with this all the time. Everybody's talking about it. It's all anybody's talking about. And Will is refusing to just take any accountability. So they're pissed. And I get
Everyone's
that.
pissed.
It's not just about helping Emmy anymore, because at some point you are going to look at Emmy and say, if this is what you want to do, then do it. Just keep us the fuck out of it because we're tired of it. But she's not there yet. They're not there yet. And Will's not giving them anything. So this is the point where everybody's like, fuck it. Like, let's just do it. Let's go after him. Let's bring up all these rumors. Let's just put it all in front of him because he's avoided us for so long. He came out to Vegas, gave us a whole fucking excuse about being bullied. Now we're sitting at Law Prom and we've got this information and he's still not taking any accountability. Let's just lay it out for him.
No, I completely agree. And like to add on to that whole thing, the extra oomph from everybody is coming from, you're not only messing with Emmy and your relationship, you're putting your friendships in weird spots too.
Right.
So that like they feel betrayed, they feel lied to, you're lying to your girlfriend. There's so many different dynamics at play here. And he doesn't see any of that. That's his biggest shortcoming. He does not spot all of the fallout that's going on. He's just focused on, you guys are accusing me. It's like, yeah, but all of these other things are happening as a result, once again, of you putting yourself in questionable situations. I'm just frazzled. I'm frazzled. But like it's coming from one place. And like he yet to step back and be like, oh, I'm the problem. Like it's not a group of 15 people that are saying the same thing. It's the one person causing those 15 people to say the same thing. But Molly quickly became one of my favorites throughout her journey on this show. Her and G Lily, this was awesome. Yeah. As G Lily walks up, she goes, wow, you look great. She's like, I know. She's like, what's that about? And she's like, literally goes and like waves her off.
It's like the only thing that G Lily would do, because I feel like the way that she goes into situations like that, she expects a compliment back. She wants the compliment right back. And if she doesn't get it, she's like, wait, what? She's going to catch that. Usually in a situation, G Lily's just going to be in her own little world and not actually understand what you're saying back to her. But she wants that compliment. She wants it bad. Give me that compliment back. What the fuck was that? What do you mean?
Say I look pretty. Say I look pretty. Tell me I look pretty. No, but I thought it was awesome because she doesn't give a shit. Molly does not care. And she is like, or G Lily is like, can we go talk real quick? She's like, yeah, whatever. And they go sit down and she's like, I don't really know why you have an attitude. Like, I just gave you a compliment and you're really rude back. Like, I think you need to work on your character. It's like, oh, that's the like the last thing you should have probably said.
Yep.
You just walked in here with a dude you hooked up with while your friend was hooking up with him, who still has a problem with you.
You just handed a loaded gun to Molly at this point.
Here, shoot me back. Like, boom. Like
it's like this.
So
you
stupid.
Probably could have avoided this entire situation. That just shows Grace has no foresight. And when she's talking about bringing O'Sheen, it's like, I still don't get it. Like, you don't understand how this would affect Maddie. Like, you had a conversation with her last week saying, I understand that this put a strain on our relationship, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everything's cool with Eva, to make sure it's cool with you. Now it's like, I'm going to bring O'Sheen.
None of that happened.
Be an issue with this. Like,
none of that happened.
How did she not understand any of this? And by sitting here saying something to Molly, who really has nothing to lose, and we've seen this all season for Molly. I think she's a great addition to the group.
Oh, phenomenal.
She's not really close enough to everybody for it to be like I'm defending my friend. I think this is more like, I see you treating your friend like shit, who I'm somewhat close to and I work with and I like Maddie. No, I don't care what you're going to say. I have no allegiance to you at all. I just think you're a shitty friend.
Just to check her, to be like, I've spotted you and I don't care for you. I'm going to tell you. And it really doesn't have to do, like, she is defending Maddie, but that's not the root of it. She's like, I'm just going to call this out because nobody else seems to be calling it out. You're a terrible
like a shitty person. Yeah.
You're like, you slap all of your friends in the face. And she's like, no, I don't do that. She's like, you just walked in with O'Sheen. It's like, her response is just this.
Yep.
She's just doing this. If you're not watching YouTube, you're missing out.
Props to the editors too. Throw it in the sparkles.
Yeah, why not? Throw some special effects in there.
Great,
She's waving her energy. You have bad energy. It's like, bruh, you just walked in here and forced a problem after having a conversation that you're going to clean up the problem.
Yep.
You are a horrible, horrible friend. The fact that Maddie and her are still close at the reunion makes me question Maddie. She is going to torch you again. She's not a good friend. She is selfish as shit.
I think it's one of those friendships where, like, every time that Grace does something that, like, obviously bothers Maddie, she's still going to be friends with her, but it's not going to affect her as much moving forward.
Oh, Gilli's going to be friends. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that, like, the Vegas thing, like, you can kind of see where they are already, where Maddie's saying in her confessional and she's saying to other people, I expected her to show up late or not, whatever. I'm just happy that she even showed up to begin with. Okay, great. But hearing Grace hear that and say, well, you think I'm a bad friend? Yes.
Horrible.
You're still here. You're still in my life. And I think that every time she does something like this, it's going to affect Maddie less and less. And eventually they'll just get to a point where it's like, yeah, that's Grace. She's going to do whatever the fuck she wants.
Grace
I'm not even going to let it bother me. Yep.
Quote unquote wavy baby. Wavy baby apparently means be an asshole. That's the definition of wavy baby.
Yeah. It's premeditated too. It's vindictive. Like
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like, you get called out for being a bad friend. You say you're going to squash it. You're going to make amends with Eva. But we know, watching at home, O'Sheen doesn't live in Charleston. So you must have invited him. You said, let's bring him out. What are your motives for that? Not because O'Sheen's fun. I mean, maybe he is.
To be shitty.
Her. It's not. Yeah, you're just trying to be a shitty friend and create some sort of hysteria. And you did it, but at what cost? Now everybody just thinks that you're a terrible friend. So I just don't understand the motive.
They thought you were a terrible friend. You just confirmed their suspicions.
Yeah.
But Molly keeps just pressing her, which I love. And G. Lily's defense now, we haven't heard this. I think we heard it one time before, or was that clip of that like a cutscene? I don't know. But clearly this is not what went down, because when you're talking to Maddie one-on-one about this quote unquote apology you were planning on giving, this didn't come up, and this would have come up. And it's one of those things that doesn't also really matter in my mind, where she's holding on to, she asked Eva if this was cool. And Eva's like, I don't really care. We're not dating. I don't believe that happened. And even if it did, shitting where you eat never pans out. And any rational person would be like, I'll probably stay away from that one because they are romantically involved in some way, shape, or form. And we are a tight clique. Probably shouldn't do this. Probably a really bad idea, regardless of the nod from Eva. So one, I don't believe it happened. And two, even if it did, use your brain. I'm still not going to, because that would be mean to you and probably pretty awkward, and maybe throw a wrench into this little tripod friendship that we have here. Yeah. Lo and behold, it certainly did. So regardless of it, you fucked up. And Maddie gets involved, rightfully so, because this makes her look so dumb for standing up for G. Lily, for having the conversation like before prom with Eva. And then this happens. G. Lily defends, and she's like, she told me this and that. And they both come over there now, and they're both denying that ever happened. Now Grace is yelling at Maddie, you're not a good friend. She's like, I'm your best friend. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, you just lost your only friend, because apparently the only people that want to like pal around with you are people like O'Sheen. And you are who you surround yourself with. If that's your crew and your clique, you're a shitty person, because he is a shitty person. I'd imagine the other two that walked in with you are also shitty people.
Most likely.
They're guilty by association at this point. I don't really care. So again, choices have consequences.
How about that?
So Have
Who could have
some
seen that coming?
foresight. How will this affect my friendship with Maddie, whom I just talked about this with? Probably not good. Oh, don't invite O'Sheen. Got it. How hard is it to get to that point? Honestly.
Not very, but it's Grace Lilly. So who knows?
The best part is out of the left field. She's like, yeah, like you sucked his dick in Tulum regarding O'Sheen. And Maddie's like, what? And Joe's literally like, it looks like he just got shot. He's like, oh, God. He goes to confession. He's like, la, 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 la. I'm like, exactly how you should have responded.
Yep.
Do not give it any weight. It's not true. Nobody believes it. Don't buy in. Let it go. Just move past this one. Talk to her later. Be like, hey, that didn't happen, right? And as soon as she says no, drop it. Because you know.
And you ask Maddie. You don't involve O'Sheen because he's the type of guy that will perpetuate and allow that rumor to just give life. Just continue.
He'll deny it, but not fully denying it. He'll be like, yeah, no, you know, we were drunk that night. I don't really remember.
Yep. That'll be it. That's what he's going to do. He wants people to think that happens because it gives him more, but
it gives him clout. But we already know that they smooched. She said we had a moment in Tulum. We already are aware of that. That comes into play at the reunion. G. Lily once again showing worst friend on the planet, yet Maddie is stricken by her somehow. I don't fucking get it. No idea. Joe's reaction was awesome. La 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 la. But anyway, yeah, that's the right move. Just walk away. Don't get involved. It's not worth it. But Maddie's seemingly over it. She's not, as we find out at the reunion. But in this moment, she's like, bye, bitch, walks away. Grace has the balls to go to a confessional and be like, Maddie has not been a good friend to me. It's like, Maddie's been a great friend to you. And then she brings up when she was going through the Trevor shit. I'm like, totally different than what you're going through. Completely different. 1000% different. Or the fact that real friends don't pick sides, also different. You put her in a horrible spot.
Very different.
With the O'Sheen thing. That was your doing. And Maddie had to try to navigate between you and her fucking roommate, bro. Her roommate. She signed a lease. She can't just leave. This is all you. Literally. But she's like, she just wasn't there for me, but I was there for Trevor. And it's like, so what? That's apples to oranges. We're not talking about the same thing, dude. It's so frustrating. And it literally, I'm like, yes, for TV, great. She's entertaining. She does wacky shit, fun, yay, haha. As a person, I do not love G. Lily anymore. She sucks ass. She just doesn't need to do this shit.
She's a terrible friend. And it also doesn't do her any favors for the show. Because if you're not friends with Maddie anymore, who's going to call you their friend on the show?
Nobody. Probably no one likes you.
Nobody really likes you. And we find out more in the reunion. Nobody really likes you. Just Maddie at this point. You want to be on this show? You want to be on this show still? You think this is good for your career? You think this is good for you moving forward? Be nice to the people that like you. Make friends with Joe. Make amends with everybody else. Be around a little bit more. That would be great. Otherwise, you're going to get the boot because you have no connection anymore.
No, nobody on this show. I mean, they all seem to like, oh yeah, Grace, like she's fine, whatever. Yeah. And then some people don't see her out.
It's like, oh yeah, Grace, cool.
Yeah, that's the vibe she gives now. It's like, oh, Grace is here. Anyway, what else is going on? Like, that's it. She has a funny one-liner, and then we move on. Or she's late for sound check and takes no accountability, whatever. But we get Michols, Emmy, and Will. And Michols brings up the whole thing about Will calling Allie's brother, and he says, I sent one text. And then Emmy says, yeah, and he denied everything. And well, if he denied everything, then there was more than one text. Like, this is how much I'm nitpicking now, because I'm trying to find any out. And I like, just from his vernacular, the way that he's using big words, I'm like, you're trying to lawyer this whole fucking situation because you think, as TJ says, that you're better than everybody, that you're smarter than everybody. Just because you have a good vocabulary doesn't mean you're smarter, because we've spotted this shit for 2 years.
Does he? Because attenuated doesn't actually work in this situation.
That's a good point. I mean,
he's a dumb lawyer that throws around words.
Off. It wasn't completely
It was
off.
Close. It wasn't the right
close. Yeah. But my whole thing is, dude, like, he knows that. Going into that and saying attenuated, like, he's trying to shit on them and be like, you can't understand what I'm saying to you.
It's the type of person that he is, yeah.
It's just so stupid. But Emmy maintains that it's all Austin's brother. That's the only connection, but the only connection has now been vindicated. He's like blindsided. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even know that they were dating anymore. Like, what the hell's going on? And we get the bully clip again for like the 5th time, which is, I even wrote bully clip 5x.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just play a whole episode of the bully clip. But he confirmed what it is. He says attenuated, and Emmy's like, you can take all that false info and shove it up your ass. It's like, I don't know why we have to handle it all like this.
Nothing has been vindicated. Nothing has been set free.
Zero.
At
Just all he said is that he's not involved. It's not nobody's seen it. It's not they haven't heard it from other people. He wasn't involved. He's vindicated.
Here's the thing, too. When new information is presented to us, as we typically do, we change our line of thinking. We've been saying it's probably because all of the evidence points to it, Austin's girlfriend's brother that's starting all of this. Yeah, he may have bullied Will, whatever. Maybe he started the rumor. Maybe he's talking to other people.
Didn't. No, he didn't. I won't buy that one.
He didn't. But now we're finding out that TJ is hearing from another VIP person at Republic that people are talking about this. So it's more than just Austin's girlfriend's brother. Yep. It's now other people that are in Charleston. That's 45 minutes away from this law school. Lo and behold, more people go to this school that have some sort of ties to Charleston. So this rumor could have started from anywhere. And if other people are talking about this brunette that's walking with him on campus and staying at his apartment and he's taking her to law prom, there's more people talking about this. And unfortunately, Bravo boy, people watch the show and they know who you are. So people are going to talk about it and it's going to get back to people at Republic because they think, and this is the shitty part about being on reality TV, they think they're going to create waves for themselves by putting this out there, by telling a Brad, by telling a TJ, by telling somebody who's closely associated with Republic, it's going to get back to them and it's going to show up on TV. And that person can sit on their couch on a Thursday night and say, yeah, I did that. That's me. Nobody's going to find out. That's all me. It's not Austin's girlfriend's brother. It's me. That's what's going to happen. So it doesn't really matter. The problem here, and has always been the problem, and still is, you cheated on your girlfriend. And if you didn't full cheat or hard cheat, as Austin likes to say, which I still fucking laugh at, if you didn't hard cheat on your girlfriend, you're at least putting stuff out there that people can take and throw back at Emmy. And it's creating a shitstorm for Emmy to deal with because you're not helping her deal with it. That's what's going on. So no, nothing was vindicated. You are not set free. You're not completely in the right. None of those things have happened. So I don't know why they're sitting there like, you guys are just scrambling. Why?
I know exactly why. Because it's something that they can prove right.
Tangible.
Therefore, they can say, exactly. It's tangible evidence so that they can point to and be like, see, told you. They would have taken any nugget that they had.
Yeah. Any
and
win.
said this. Yeah. Any W points to them being like, see, you guys are all lying. It's like, no.
Now
dude,
this
no
is
one
all thrown out the window. Yeah. No.
It's not at all. Because by the way, not one person has said that it's Austin's brother. Or Allie's brother. They think it is, but they've now gotten other evidence throughout this episode. Nobody's like staunchly defended that and said like it's definitely him. Austin even said at the Run Club, like it's definitely not him. He doesn't even know that we're dating again, which we get confirmed. So all you've done is remove Allie's brother. Everything else is still up for grabs, but they're both acting like, we won the case. If the glove fits, like it's so stupid.
Why is nobody apologizing to us? Like what?
You haven't done anything. We should apologize to Allie's brother.
Will apologize? Yeah.
Yeah. For texting him this morning, ruining his day. No, probably not. But
probably not.
Mia takes charge. Thank God. Because at this juncture, I'm irritated. I'm like, we've been skipping around this. We've had the same conversation 6 times with Austin. Let somebody do this. And so Mia literally grabs him and like drags him over, then says, talk this shit out now. Do this now. Like you keep doing this, that, the other thing. Like, let's go. This is bullshit. Thank you, Mia, for speaking for us at home. We really appreciate it. And you get Austin, Will, and Emmy. What the fuck? What is going through her brain that she walks out onto the porch on the 2nd floor and goes, you think I'd survive if I jumped? It's like, what? Excuse me? It's like, I think I'd be fine. It's like, why are you jumping for? What are we?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
It just kind of shows like where her brain is right now.
That's what I know. And I'm like making a joke
not
about
like if I jump.
No, not at all.
Like,
not
no,
at all.
it's
I
just
don't
like
think it was about unaliving herself, if you will.
No.
I think it was much more about just like, she's trying to make jokes. She's trying to like,
she's just erratic.
Weird. It's exactly. It's erratic. You're like, where's this coming from? Because this is kind of a bizarre thing to say to start this conversation off. And TJ and Bradley join. And then everyone starts to like trickle in. And Will's like, absolutely not. They're not part of this. It's like, no, dude. Because of your mess, because of how ridiculous you are, you have involved everybody in this friend group because they're going out on King Street and having randoms come up to them and bring this whole thing up. They're having people from other bars come up to them. This is your doing for being an idiot. So no, they all get to be part of this. Not to mention You and Emmy have been talking smack on every single one of these people because they're questioning, because they're trying to get to the bottom of it, because they're trying to protect your girlfriend, which you have no plan of doing. So at least somebody's looking out for her well-being. So no, everyone gets to be involved in this entire conversation, but we know that he can't stand up to anybody. We know he can't sit there and take it. So what do? They do what they always do. They tuck tail and they run. They run away because they're little children that have to deny the truth. They want to act like none of this happened. All these people have tried to do is be your friend. That's all they try to do, Emmy. And they've like genuinely up until like recently, they've tried to do it in a respectful manner. You're just not hearing them. So that's not on them, but they definitely get to be a part of this conversation. And after they run away, Michols goes after him, Joe goes after him, and TJ goes after him. And then Bradley joins a little bit later. Joey calls him out. He's like, every single time this comes up, you run away. You don't realize that's drawing more suspicions to you because you can't just stand up and clear the air. Give your defense. Tell us what's up, because if you don't, what are we left with?
Well, this is what infuriates us even more watching all of this, because we've watched Emmy, and I'm sure it infuriates Joe and Bradley and TJ too. We've watched Emmy have to stand in it. Like, yes, she did run away from Lake's house and had Will's brother come pick her up or whatever. But yeah, you can kind of see that in a different light and say she was teamed up on, and she shouldn't have to be in that situation. Will put her in that situation. The friends didn't. The friends want answers because they've been dealing with it for weeks. She's been dealing with it for weeks.
They don't want to talk about this, by the way.
They didn't try to aggressively go after her. Yeah, maybe they could have changed a couple of things, and I'm sure if they rewatch that, they'd probably change a couple of things that they said. Sure, whatever. But people get hot and bothered when they have to deal with the same thing that doesn't have anything to do with them for weeks. And Will is not there to answer for himself. Now that he is there to answer for himself, and once again he is there, he runs away. Like, you don't get to run away anymore. Emmy has had to stand in it and stand on business and try to explain herself out of what Will did. And that's unfair. You don't get to now stand here while we have you in our grasp and run away. It's just not going to work that way. You're not some big tough guy. You get bullied at law school. Like, you're clearly not tough. So
you get upset about Bravo Boy. You realize that's them recognizing that you're on TV. Like, you make money doing that. Like, shut up.
And we've watched you put this story together about Allie's brother in Vegas. Even if you have a story, you know that people are going to come after you. You know it's on camera. You know it's getting towards the end of the season. They want some payoff if that's how you're going to look at it. I don't look at it that way. I think they just want answers because they've had to deal with it. Just fucking come up with something. I don't care if it's the worst excuse in the world or a lie or whatever. Stand there and take it. And it could start to go away. If you stand there and take it, they're going to go away in some capacity. Yeah, there's still going to be questions. Yeah, they're still going to want answers to certain things. Fine.
But
whatever.
You've addressed
Maybe
it.
TJ's
addressed it.
And then you have a leg to stand on when TJ comes after you. Maybe TJ won't be satisfied with your answer, and he's going to continue to do some digging and bring it back to you. You have a leg to stand on now because you can say, TJ, are we going to fucking do this forever? Are you going to constantly be texting people? Like, then it puts a bad omen on TJ. People like Brad will probably go away. Like, fine, whatever. He addressed it. Joe will probably go away because it's the easier path. TJ might not, but you can stand there and say, I addressed this. You asked me last week. You ruined the whole fucking prom. Put it on him. I don't care what you have to do. That's what you have to do in this situation. You have to stand there and take it, just like Emmy has the entire summer.
That's the biggest part. She's had to deal with it. Now you have to deal with it. You don't get to run every time because she hasn't had the opportunity, because even when she tried to, she had to wait for his brother to come pick her up. So no, like you just said, say something. Say literally anything other than running away. But I'm glad that TJ had a moment to like air it out a little bit. I think he needed to get this off his chest because he's like, you fucking suck. You think you're better than everybody? I'm like, yeah, he does. And he's a loser too. Say that. But the softest argument comes from young William in a confessional. He's like, TJ always needs somebody to hate. It's like, don't do that. Nope. Is TJ reactive? Absolutely. Does he carry his emotions on his sleeve? 100%. Do I believe he is well-intentioned and a good person? Sure. 100%. Absolutely. Because the reason he's this reactive is he really cares about these people. That's what I've gathered from it. Like, he has these big reactions. He talks some shit. He stirs the pot. We know he likes to gossip a little bit. That's just who he is. He's not a bad dude by any stretch of the imagination. Like, he's a solid guy. So for the fact that you're going to be like, first it was Mikel in season 1, it's like, season 1, dude. Really? And then we go to season 2, and then we go to season 3, and it's like he had beef with people, as most people do on reality shows. Like, you're a lawyer. This is the best you can come up with. You're the top 10% in your class. How many people are in that class? 10? You number 10? Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
Well,
I guess he still wouldn't be the
not how
top 10%.
percentages.
I know.
He would be
It's
number
okay.
one,
It's okay.
actually.
I know. Thanks. I got that. As soon as I said it, I am not great at math, but I'm also not stupid. I feel stupid.
Second episode. It's all right.
Yeah, there you go. Blame it on that. But they keep getting into it. And, you know, he calls out Emmy and says, you're letting him control your mind. Like he's irritated. He's upset because his friends have kind of cast his. That's the other part that they don't recognize. You're calling into question your friend's character, that they want to perpetuate this shit. As I've said all season, nobody wants to talk about this. They don't want to do this. This is awkward. They're forced to do it because, again, they're hearing in bars that you're talking shit about your girlfriend. Then they're hearing that you're moving in with somebody on campus. That's the root of all of this. So, again, if he's got a big reaction, the worst thing you could do is laugh in his face, giggle about it, belittle the whole situation, at the very least stand there and listen and then respond, because that's what a lawyer would do. That's what an adult would do. You know what a child would do? No, you're gonna cry now? I would have fucking teed off on him. I would have punched him in the teeth. Like, the fact that he didn't, I was actually impressed with his reaction. He's like, oh, fuck off, whatever. If a fucking grown man said that to me, I would open palm slap him and be like, what did you just say? Like, that was so disrespectful. It disregards all his feelings.
It's the cycle of bullying. That's what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Will got bullied by somebody stronger than him, so now he thinks he's stronger than TJ. He's going to bully him.
I guess. Like, that's
Like,
so.
that's the only thing I can come up with.
It tracks, I guess. But they bring up the girl that apparently hurt people do hurt people. You're right. But TJ brings up, after the laughing and giggling, the girl that he's apparently living with. He's like, well, I know who you cheated with. And the fact that Will had a response, I'm like, hello, what? He's like, the blank girl? I'm like, who's that? That's not even who we're talking about. I don't think. Why
are we blanking that out?
Because that person's not involved in the show, I'd imagine. No. So it's like throwing them under the bus.
Like, what's the name?
Or maybe a location. I don't really know. But like, again, we're not even talking about that one, I don't think. It's like, who's that one?
Probably
like,
not. Yeah.
There's two. If you have multiple responses to, I know who you're cheating with, he's like, this girl? No.
What?
Right. Yeah.
Should we be asking about her?
I'm not cheating with Abigail. Like, who's that? Like, what? Did you just shoot yourself in the? I didn't know. It's so weird. But their defense is that they went away for a weekend. She needed a place to stay. Sleep on my couch. It's fine. The best point, honestly, is Mia's like, this is the unfriendliest motherfucker I know. There's no way he did that, first and foremost. Second, what? Not one person on campus would be thinking that this chick moved in with you if they just saw her at your place for a weekend.
Yeah.
Not one person, because that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Unless she was moving, like you claim, and she moved all of the boxes into your apartment for a night and then moved them back out the following day, which also makes no sense. So none of your story makes sense. Once again, Esquire, we are left with so many question marks. But if I look on the other side of this squabble, they have receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots. They got everything. So I'm not going to sit here and listen to your bullshit when I know for a fact they have evidence. They're talking to other people. And your defense stinks. It's not even a good one. This makes no sense. You lent her the apartment for 2 days because you guys were in New York. What?
No, it makes no sense. And your whole thing is like, I told her that she had to be out. It's like, if you're taking that strong of a stance, telling somebody they have to be out before you get back, why are you letting her stay there in the first place?
Right? Like, why can't you get back and be like, oh, you're still here. Do you need help moving your shit?
Could you imagine, like, if you have a friend like of the opposite sex and you're allowing them to stay at your place, and you're like, yeah, Dev and I are away for the weekends. Like, we'll be back on Sunday, but you have to be out before we get back. What?
Dev, why? Why does she have to leave before we get back? Like, what's your response to that?
She's messy.
It doesn't make any sense, dude. Like the ultimatum or the time frame that you must be out by this time,
fucking bizarre.
It just doesn't. It's not
that person
logical.
clearly should not be staying there in the first place. Like,
if you're not cool with like coming back
what?
into the place and seeing them there, like it does not make sense. It's illogical. We don't fuck with illogical around here. If it doesn't make
No.
sense to us, we're not going to buy it. That doesn't make sense.
And like, you think that's like a feather in your cap too. Like, I'm a stand-up person. I'm not going to have her around Emmy. Like, no.
What?
If
Why?
Emmy's going to
If it's
go to
not a
her
big
confessional
deal.
and say, yeah, I'm not threatened by this brunette girl that's walking around with him on campus. He let her stay there for a weekend and she was gone before we got back. Like,
just the
okay.
implication from him that it would be weird for Emmy is weird. That
weird.
draws,
yeah.
All of it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Like, they think that it answers every question and that speaks to his character, but in reality, it just raises more questions. Like, all right, you're close enough with her that you're going to allow her to stay there, but you want to keep her away from Emmy or you, and the implications. Like, it's sketchy. The whole thing's
so sketchy. It doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. But TJ says to Emmy, "It's like, look, this dude's gonna fuck you over. It's a matter of time." But when it happens, I will still be there for you to pick up the pieces. So I'm proud of him for saying that.
Sure.
The response is, not everyone's miserable, TJ. Is great response.
No.
Just fucking you guys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We just watched you both mope around on the front porch of your own party for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then complain about crab cakes instead of sushi. We've watched you guys alone together. You look miserable.
And like,
Emmy talks for Will. Like,
and how is Emmy going to come away from that being like, I'm so happy I did that? Like, going into it, you were excited to have this whole prom thing. Everybody else kind of rolled their eyes like, yeah, well, it's a little weird. We've heard some rumors about Will's law prom, but yeah, let's go throw Will a party and like, let's have a prom here because I wasn't able to make it. You were excited going into it. You were happy going into it. You wanted to do all of these things. You're not really that pissed off about the sushi. That's just one thing.
That doesn't
like,
make
you're really
that also
come away from this whole thing that you put all of this fucking effort into and be miserable. And they're not, because now they're completely diluted and Emmy's getting thrown into it too. Because at some point, again, we're going to stop feeling bad for Emmy because we have to keep watching it. It's like, all right, at some point you do have all of these flags and all of these signs pointing to, I should probably not be in a relationship with this guy. But yet here I am. You just threw a whole party and you were miserable the entire time.
And then left early.
Like, why'd you throw the party in the first place then?
Then you
like,
left.
We could have done something else to end it. Like, it's just insane to me.
I hope everyone that stayed had like the best night of their life.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I hope they just, and I bet they did.
I hope there was milk everywhere.
Like,
yeah.
Shut up. Damn it. I don't. But Emmy tries to point to the fact that every time you guys have tried to have my back, it's been behind my back. And it's like, no, it's because every time they try to do it one-on-one, you would deny everything and accuse them back and like yell at them. Multiple people try to talk to you solo. You just wouldn't have it. Everything wraps up. Those two leave. G Lily tries to talk to Maddie. Like, I know we're both upset, girl. She's like, fuck off. Like, not now. Go away. Way too soon, by the way. And in the street, you have Emmy screaming. And she's like, if they want me to I'll ruin their lives right now. And now we know what she was talking about. It's like, that's what you were sitting on that you thought was going to quote unquote ruin their lives. Like, this is your big bombshell. And you get this cut scene from 10 days ago. And it's Will in the kitchen talking to production. And he's like, well, there is one thing that we haven't discussed. And, you know, Maddie hasn't been activated all season. And now I'm being a producer of this show because I produced my girlfriend's
Maddie? Or why would that, like, I don't know. It would just... You're just ruining, like she came away from that relationship. You can still see that there's some like growing pains that have to happen because she had to go through all of that. Why? Like, what's the point? It was months and months and months ago. It's not like
what their point is.
Like,
when we get to it, is
the
dumbest idea that you think that this somehow, and I'll save it for the reunion episode since we're about to do that. But it's so dumb to think that this is like another feather in your cap, as you've been saying, to be like, see, told you so. It's like, this is not an I got you, believe it or not. All the things that you guys have done, all the things that Will has done, still under question. We still don't believe you. So answer some goddamn questions. And speaking of questions, let's get to some questions.
This is a great starting question from, it's not even a question, but I agree with it, from Beck Buck. First it was hot dogs. Now Will says that he doesn't like crab cakes. He is the actual worst.
Yeah. Who doesn't like crab cakes? What?
Yeah. Or
from Charleston, like they got to have great soft shell crab there and like great crab in general. Like it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
I will read this one because they could have pulled a Kristen Doty from VPR. From Grass Bouch. Need them to step up their game and bring the girls on the show Will is cheating with. Correct. Yeah. Like when Tony flew out that chick.
That's I think the problem. They're not well off enough. We want them to be in that sweet spot where they're making some money, but they still have to work at Republic. They might have a little bit of extra money to fly somebody out or drive somebody out from law school to
Joe can use an Uber
substantiate this
since he does that for 45 minutes.
Dude, he's probably got like an Uber credit card at this point.
Oh, that'd be cool. Get some points. No, this is funny just to corroborate from Rashivius, not anti-confrontation Austin going around to everyone but Will. Thoughts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Oh God, dude.
From Chandler Andler, who was the biggest voice of reason when things started melting down at the finale? Mia probably. I mean, but TJ he was just enthusiastic what he was saying. Like just because he was losing it a little bit. Like,
reasonable.
What he was saying was 100% factual. What Joe was saying was factual. What Bradley was saying, like everybody but Will and Emmy, probably. This one's just funny. From Mrs. Carter 1016. Used to love Grace Lilly. She is so full of herself. Also, just because of how they tried so valiantly to spell O'Sheen's name. Ohisn. Ohisn.
Gross.
I believe it's Oisin.
Yeah, I think so.
For the record. Let's do one more.
I've got another statement here from Bailey Clem. Not a question, but as somebody who has been to Law Prom, the Soho Prom was far better. So apparently Law Prom sucks.
Well, there you go. This is a good one to end it on from I'm Anissa B. Why is this show only 10 episodes? Also, for sure, we are having Will on, right? If he wants to come on.
We'll see how it goes.
It's not up to us anymore. But this show needs to be longer. But again, we've all agreed. You guys listening are also going to agree. Keep them humble. Keep them humble as long as we can, God damn it. Because once they get to that level, this show will change and we will be sad. You know what they say in VPR? These are the best days of our lives. That's what this show is at right now. So we're all with you, but let's not push it. Let's just enjoy what we have for the time that we have it. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
No. You got anything else?
Nope. That's it.
Well, that's our show. Bro's got to go record the reunion episode. Number 3 of the day. Buckle up, baby.
Yeah. Isn't that lovely?